We have been getting a lot of snow, and I am so into the ski aesthetic. My goal this year is to learn how to ski, and I've been acquiring all the things that you need to take ski lessons. Since I'm in the spirit of the ski aesthetic, I thought I'd take some things around the house and use them to upcycle some earmuffs. What is up, guys? Welcome to the mirror table, where what you bring to the table is a reflection of you. And today we are bringing two quick and easy upcycles. Have you seen those junk socks? Well, we're going to do, instead of junk socks, we're going to do like a junk hat. So a bunch of pins and buttons and things like that all over to just junk it up, make it look really cute. So we're going to do a hat, and also it's cold outside. It is snow. We have welcomed the snow for winter, and I realized I need some earmuffs. And I was going to buy a pair, but I thought, I have a bunch of stuff laying around here. My mom's like, well, why don't I make you some earmuffs? I'm like, oh, cool, Mom. So Mom's going to make some earmuffs. She's going to cover her hat, and then we're going to style them in the ends. We are going to use some upcycled materials. I have some foam and some extra fabric and from other upcycles that we're going to use to make some earmuffs from scratch. Also, the hat, I have a baseball hat that I just wear here and there. It would be really cute if I really junked it up and really make it look like a really nice statement piece accessory. So I'm going to show you those things and gather all my supplies for the upcycle and pass that off to Mom, and then we'll come back here and we'll style it. See you in a bit. You guys know I get a lot of packages from TikTok, and this is some packaging material we're going to use. We're also going to use a glass candle holder to create a pattern for the earmuffs. So you just take your packing foam, stack two pieces together, use a glass vase, and trace a circle. Then once you have both circles traced, go ahead and cut them out. I want a really jumbo size earmuff, so Mom used a 4-inch diameter candle holder to create my pattern. But feel free to use any size circle that will cover your ear. Now, after you have your circles cut out, you're going to need a headband. I have a lot of headbands. I never wear them, and I want to do something fun with them. So I thought, why don't we make earmuffs? So this is one that I have, really cute one, but I'm going to see if this is going to work. Not sure. I also have this. Mom said maybe something metal would work, so I'm going to just pull the flowers off of this one, and they will upcycle this headband into my earmuffs. So next you're going to need some batting. So you're going to take the two packing foam patterns that you created, you're going to lay it on the batting, and you're going to cut you two circles. Now, after you cut out your circles, you're going to create a sandwich. Not an edible sandwich, but you're going to take the batting, split it in half, insert the foam circle in between the two pieces of batting. And cut your foam circles about 1 inch larger in diameter, because you're going to glue the foam in between with some fabric tack glue. Also, a lot of these supplies are available on my Amazon storefront. So if you need sewing supplies for any projects, feel free to shop my Amazon storefront. I do get a little commission, so that will be great. Okay, so the first part of the circle, if you notice, Mom glued it to the batting and folded the edges up around the center foam circle. Then she trimmed and glued the other piece of batting to the center, and she used fabric tack glue. So the insert of the earmuff is complete. Now let's find some fabric for the outer part. So these are scraps that I have left over from many projects, and these are faux fur scraps. I have a lot to choose from. So I have some plain neutral tone faux fur pieces, and I also have some printed faux fur pieces. So this is a hard part. I'm trying to decide what color do I want, what color do I need. But this is a great way to utilize some of those small scraps that you have in your upcycle pile. Okay, so I decided to go with a color that I'm going to wear all the time. So black is the color I'm going to use to make these earmuffs. So now that you have your earmuff insert, you're going to use that as a pattern to trace a pattern for your outside fabric. I would say trace this about 1 inch larger than your inner piece. And once you have it traced, here's a little pro tip. Use an X-Acto knife to remove the backing from the faux fur. This will make it a lot easier for you to hand sew the pieces together, and the fur will overlap the seams nicely, so you won't know where the fur ends or begins. So go ahead and run a running stitch around the diameter of the outer fabric, and then you're going to insert the inner piece, and you're going to pull the threads around the circle and make sure, just work it in and make sure it fits right in the circle. Okay, so while you guys are doing that, I'm going to look for a piece to put on the inside. So I have a piece of scrap cashmere. This is going to be warm and soft against my ear. So use the same measuring tool that you use to cut out your earmuffs, and we use the same glass candle holder we used before. And you're going to take that and trace out a pattern for the inner lining of your earmuffs. Once you have it cut out, go ahead and do the same running stitch you did before around the diameter of the circle. Pull your threads to make it gather and fit the inner part of the earmuff. Go ahead and hand sew this piece on and leave an inch open for the headband. So we chose a wire headband. I removed the flowers off of this one to upcycle it, and Mom is putting fabric tack glue all over that, and she's going to cover it with some batting. This makes the headband soft and comfortable for the head. Okay, so once you have your batting all glued on, go ahead and cut a piece of fabric that will fit on the headband. And I'm using the cashmere that I use for the inner part of my earmuffs, but feel free to use whatever fabric you like. And you're just going to wrap it around the headband. You're going to pin it as you wrap, and then you're going to hand sew it on. Once it's all pinned, it should look like this. Go ahead and get your needle thread and just hand sew it together. And to sew it together, you need to insert the headband into each of the earmuff pieces and just hand sew it all together. As you can see on the inside, Mom just hand sewed the handle right into the section that was open for the earmuffs. And you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on, and let's see how they turned out. Next up is this ordinary baseball cap. We're going to junk it up like this inspiration hat right here I found on Pinterest. And we're going to take it and make it really cute. But first, we need to get rid of the letters on the hat. And we're going to do that by covering them up with some velvet. So I used this velvet before for a project where I upcycled some denim. And I have a piece left that I'm going to use on the hat. So if you ever want to cover up your baseball hat, Mom is going to demonstrate how you can do this. So first of all, you want to measure from the top of the crown down to the brim of the hat, then measure across the front of the crown. Once you have those measurements, use those to cut the fabric that you're going to use to cover portions of the hat. So I want the brim and the top of the crown, just where the words are, to be covered with this velvet fabric. So feel free to use a ruler square, and some tailor's chalk to create your pattern. And again, I do have a lot of these supplies listed on my Amazon storefront, so feel free to support your girl and click on a link and get some sewing supplies. So use your measurements to cut out a larger piece of fabric, and then you're going to use that piece of fabric to cut your pattern. So as you can see, Mom is cutting out a large piece of fabric, just big enough to make a pattern for the hat. So now that you have a piece of fabric cut, you can start making your pattern. So I had another hat similar to this one, and I took it apart. So now Mom can use this piece as a pattern to cut out the velvet section. But if you don't have an additional hat to take apart, just get a sheet of paper and put it over the brim and trace out a pattern. Then once you have it all traced, go ahead and cut out your pattern and get it ready to glue to your hat. Only cut out the curved section of the pattern. You're going to cut the rest of it when you glue it to the hat. And once you get it all cut out, you're going to use some fabric tack glue. Guys, fabric tack is like the best glue. I love using it on all of my projects, and Mom is going to use it here. You do want to put it on your hat and let it cure for 24 hours before you do anything else to it. But she's going to go ahead and apply the glue, and watch as she puts it on section by section. You want the fabric to lay nicely and smooth on the hat, so you're going to start putting the glue in the center and put the fabric on in the center first. So go ahead and grab your fabric piece and put it on the hat, place it on the curve, and then you're going to work that center area where you applied the glue. Make sure it's nice and smooth so there are no bubbles or puckers. Now, once you have the center all smoothed out the way you like, go ahead and lift up one side of the hat, and you're going to apply glue on the brim of the hat and then work it smooth like you did the center. Now lift the other side and repeat the same process. continue to work the hat to make sure it is nice and smooth. And also a special tip, you can take a seam ripper and press it down between the seam where the brim meets the crown. Then after the glue has cured for 24 hours, you want to take a X-Acto knife and cut or trim the excess where the brim meets the crown. After you trim that area, go ahead and trim around the brim. Now go ahead and cover the crown of your hat using the same method as before. Start your glue in the center, smooth it down, and then work each side. So now that you have the areas of your hat covered, you might want to do something to hide the raw edges of the fabric. Feel free to be creative in finding ways to hide the raw edges, but we found some trim at the thrift store. So Mom's going to use some of this to cover up the edges. Once all the edges are covered, use some clips and let this cure for 24 hours. So while my hat is curing, I need to find some things to junk it up. So I have tons of items that I've collected from the thrift store. Some of these I did find on Amazon, but a lot of them were in grab bags at the thrift store. And we're just going to use pins. So we're going to use brooches to pin all over the hat and just be as creative as you like. We're just going to junk it up and throw in a bunch of different color pins and make it super cute. And this is the opportunity to make your hat your own. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Mom do this, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how it looks.
Alright, I don't want no best friend. 너도 나와 같은 맘이야. Waiting to get there. 나를 보며 웃어줘. 때론 그리움이 우릴 서로 적겠지만 사랑한 그것만큼만 keep it up, keep 어떤 말로
Thank you guys so much for watching. This was so much fun. I hope you guys learned something new that you can create with just scraps laying around the house and had fun with this upcycle. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I don't know where you're waiting for. We are a vibe over here. So thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.